Hello everyone, it's me, Dad, and Tim here with a special EndWenders podcast. Minecon Earth is happening this weekend, and this week Mojang has steadily been releasing the concepts for 4 new monster mobs, which we, the players, will have the opportunity to vote on during the Minecraft Earth livestream. But only the winning mob will be added to the game, and then the losing candidates are gone forever, so it's up to all of us players to choose wisely. That's why we, the EndWenders, are bringing you this podcast today to discuss our thoughts and hopes for these mobs. Now, as we're recording this right now, so far only mobs A through C have been released to the public. But D will probably be up by the time this video gets up, so don't worry about that. We'll be focusing on the ones we know about, and we'll be discussing Mob D only in speculation. But let's save that floaty guy for last and start with our overall discussion points. So, Dad, what sorts of points are we looking to cover today?
Well, I think we want to talk about just the look of each one, whether we think which ones we think are more pleasing and look better for the game. I think we want to talk about how each one might impact gameplay and how we might alter our strategies a little bit because of their existence. And thirdly, what types of biomes they would be in, where we think additional mobs are needed. What biomes do we think we'd like to see mobs or not?
Okay, so why don't we start with Mob A. Tim, what are your thoughts on Mob A, the underwater tentacle monster?
You mean the Kraken? Let's just be honest. It's the Kraken.
All right, that's fair.
I don't know if that's what they'll actually end up calling it, but I'm gonna call him Cracky for now.
Cracky. All right, Cracky it is.
So Cracky, I think, is interesting. He kind of reminds me of, I mean, he's similar to the squids that they have in the game, but obviously a lot more dangerous looking. I mean, they did state that they will spawn in deep ocean, so I'm assuming the deep ocean biome is the only place that they'll actually spawn in, presumably.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
You can still swim across the rivers.
Yes, yeah, with safely, hopefully. Yeah. So, but I mean, I like the design is very sleek. I mean, obviously very boxy like everything else in the game, but still very unique and different than what we've seen, I think, in a lot of other mobs.
Interesting that it moves using its mouth flaps.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how that works in motion. Does that mean it moves backwards, moves forwards?
Well, and if it's going to open up to take a bite and it's been coming towards you, the mouth is facing away.
Now, we haven't heard this thing is gonna take a bite. We've only heard that we get dragged down and drowned.
That's true. It talks about, so the tentacle will actually get you.
Right. So we have no idea.
But it's still facing the opposite direction of the way it's traveling.
That is, if it's moving in that way, according to the picture.
Well, from what I gathered from the picture, the open spots are the jaws, and the tentacle that comes out is from its mouth specifically. That's what that looks like to me.
Right, but if it's moving by pushing its mouth flaps in one direction, then it would go in the opposite direction, meaning its tongue is flying at the opposite direction from where it's going.
Potentially, yes.
If it travels that way.
Right.
That's why I'd love to see this thing in motion and how it'll move.
I mean, that is how a squid moves in the ocean, as far as the tentacles.
And a real squid has its mouth on that same side, doesn't
exactly.
it?
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
So it doesn't necessarily need to move towards you for it with its jaw area to be able to grab a hold of you.
If it swims next to you, it can reach out and grab you.
Exactly.
I don't want to think about that.
Like, hey, neighbor.
No thanks. What flies up? Hey, neighbor. No.
Well, would you rather be eaten by it or drowned by it?
I mean, either way, you're dead.
Neither one sounds appealing. I mean, I would imagine going to... I would imagine the only way you would really want to really encounter this is if you're going to fight it, like the ocean monuments. So you're prepared with your potions and everything.
Are you saying you expect it to spawn only in the ocean monuments, or...?
No. I mean, like, you would... Presumably, you would only want to find it when you want to find it, if you know what I'm saying. When you're prepared to take it on. I mean, you know, that's not always the case, especially with creepers. You're never prepared for one of those guys.
Right.
But what if it... I mean, so you don't swim anymore across the ocean, but will it attack a boat?
That is a good question. I've seen some people wondering that themselves. yeah, I mean, if a boat could be taken, that would be...
If the thing just lunges out and stabs the boat with its tongue and then drags the whole boat down, you're in trouble.
Maybe you get out of the boat, but then you're in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, and then this thing's coming after you.
At that point, maybe you just have to hope that it's
satisfied
with your boat. It'd be like David Alan Greer from Jumanji when the big plant takes his police car. He's like, "Fine, take it!"
Yeah, there you go. I want to talk about its color for a second. The squids are blue like the ocean.
Dark blue.
Yeah,
still
dark
blue,
blue.
yes.
Like, still noticeable and distinguishable.
Yeah.
Yes, navy blue. But, like, this thing, if it were to be colored in the same way as the squid, that would either be confusing or really good camouflage.
I would say probably good camouflage, because if you're just swimming with other squids and you don't notice it...
What if it spawned in groups of squid? Like you get 4 squid spawned and one of these spawns with it.
Because sometimes you go looking for ink sacs. So
Yeah.
you go, okay, I gotta kill
do all
some
the
squids
time.
because I need ink sacs. And you go, and all of a sudden,
They have a friend.
here's little Cracky.
I'm getting chills thinking about that. No, thank you. Fighting things in the water is so difficult. Because
It is.
It's just... I mean, even in real life, but why would you go punching a shark in the face in real life? You wouldn't go looking for a shark in real life.
People do.
Okay.
Australians.
Australians. But to have to fight this thing in the water would be a real challenge. And
Well, you're in its environment.
Yeah.
well, absolutely you are. Okay, so...
What about the look of it? Do you like the look of it?
Oh, I think it's beautiful. I absolutely love looking. But it's going to depend, for
On
me,
the color.
speaking as an artist,
Yeah.
on the color,
Yeah.
absolutely. If it's something like orange, then
It's not going to be orange.
you don't know.
It seems counterintuitive to its most...
To its environment.
To its environments. Most, especially in the ocean specifically, when you find creatures
Should
in
I
certain
name
depth...
so many tropical fish that are
Right.
just wild colors?
It's true. It's true, but fish...
They're not typically predators.
Right.
Okay.
Like, especially when you get
Okay.
further down, there's so many octopi and other predatory fish and other things.
That
down-
Red
actually
octopi, ringed octopi. You got all kinds of crazy things down
Yeah.
there.
A lot of those have chameleon tendencies.
Exactly. So there's no
All right.
reason to suspect this wouldn't be the same.
Okay. All right. No, I like where that
I'm
thought is
not
going.
crazy about the look of it myself.
What
No?
makes you say that?
I think it just looks too weird.
Welcome to the ocean, Dad.
Welcome to Minecraft.
You know, and I'm a little bit off topic, but none of these things bear any resemblance, well, a little bit there, but not in the air, to, I mean, in Minecraft, you have your polar bears and your other things, but this doesn't look like anything.
Well, to be fair, most monster mobs, besides, say, the skeletons or the zombies, don't really resemble much of anything that we would find in the real life. Creepers,
Right.
I mean, if you really look at a creeper, it looks rather unfortunate.
It
Well,
makes me think...
and
Sorry, go ahead.
blazes
And blazes.
all that.
And ghasts.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, even though this is an ocean monster, it makes me think of like a carnivorous plant, the way that it is. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely got squid and, we'll say, kraken tendencies, but
Right.
it makes me think of like a Venus flytrap. Like,
Yeah.
it's got four mouth flaps instead of 2.
Roots.
Yeah.
Oh, that's creepy. The way you said that, I just got chills. But yeah, it makes me think of a plant a little bit, even though it's an ocean monster.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me.
But many ocean creatures also hide as plants often, too. So
Yes.
there's no reason to suspect this couldn't be the same as well. I mean...
I do like the idea of having another mob in the ocean and something dangerous.
Yeah, there's not enough to do in the oceans.
Kind of like playing Wind Waker a little bit, and you're
Yeah.
just sailing and
Sailing.
sailing. Da 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 da.
I'm really bored now. Can something happen?
So yeah, this would definitely add some variety
Because,
to the ocean.
You know, the ocean monument has things, but
Oh,
unless
yeah.
you're going after an ocean monument, there's nothing in the water that's a
Yeah.
problem.
I have always viewed the water, as a player, as a safe place. Like, if I'm in the middle of nowhere at night and I got, like, no safe place to be, I could just be on the ocean. Mobs can't... Sure, they can try to follow me into the ocean, but...
Skeletons are quicker in the water now.
Are they?
Yeah, they can
We were
move.
talking about that the other day. About skeletons are hard now. Like, they didn't used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess one thing you can't discount, if this thing gets you, your stuff is scattered all over the floor of the deep ocean. And
It's true.
No thanks.
But I mean, that's often the case. Even if you die in the middle of the water from a skeleton, and there's sometimes
True.
there's no some
but the
certain things you
skeleton
can't
is
account for.
going to be by the shore.
That's true.
This is
typically.
not.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Mob B here. So this manta ray looking thing, before it was
Manti.
released officially and we just had the image of it, I was thinking this was going to be the ocean monster.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be. I was hoping it would be a flying one, but I kind of thought it might be a water-based one as well.
Okay, so this thing spawns at high altitudes, we're told, and it goes after players who haven't slept in a long time, and it attacks in groups, and that's basically what we know about this one.
Correct.
But as to where it spawns, all we know is that it's in the air. We don't have like a specific biome.
Said high altitude specifically, but
Yes.
what constitutes as high altitude?
Well, can it be a high altitude in the desert? High
Right.
over the desert?
Yeah.
Right.
Or will it only be in places like extreme hills?
Right.
Exactly, that's the question.
Savanna and mega taiga and things like that.
Right. I would think that it would be any biome specifically. Maybe not the oceans per se. I mean, it could.
But kind of like how zombies are any biome.
Yeah.
With the exception of
Ooh,
husks.
that would be bad if you were just sitting in a boat in the middle of the ocean
Oh.
and a bunch of these came down on you.
And then Cracky is sitting down there waiting for you.
No, because we're only getting
But if we had both, you having to contend with both of those at the same time.
Yeah, the groups makes it difficult. And if it's nighttime, it'll be hard to see.
Yeah.
Unless the eyes glow or something. But
Like
even then.
glowing red.
Oh. This is freaking me out talking about these monsters.
glowing red.
These are all so sinister from what I've heard about all of them, and I'm just like really on edge about whatever one is gonna get picked.
How do you like the look?
I think it looks fantastic. Like, I really have nothing more to add to it either, other than it looks exactly like a manta ray, and I'm sure that's where they pulled some of their inspiration. But the fact that they made their manta-like creature their flying creature.
Yeah.
They gave it a pterodactyl type of scream when it was over you in the dark and you couldn't see it.
No.
And so you knew it was up there, but you didn't know where.
No.
That would be, and there's more than one.
Kind of like how you're in the nether and you hear the ghast in the distance.
Yeah.
Now,
It's like,
that's a great segue into one of my other points is, let's talk about attacking this thing. Attacking a flying monster is a trick. I hate fighting things in the water. I hate fighting flying things more. Because I'm a person who uses the sword more than a bow and arrow. Dad, I would trust you would have no trouble with this thing. But a ghast in the nether is essentially a giant floating blimp. That thing's pretty easy to hit.
And it's great
It
at
moves
playing
a
tennis
lot,
with, too.
But yeah,
But
this could be tough.
from the bottom, looking at it from the bottom, is it going to be like it looks kind of boxy and broad from the bottom. I'm wondering if it's going to be as easy a target as hitting a ghast.
Well, it also depends on how big
is
they
it?
are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
because, I mean...
if it attacks in groups.
Like, say you're...
Like
you know how, like,
silverfish?
mini zombies, baby zombies, are really, really hard to hit because they're so fast.
Yeah.
If this is as small as, like, even... Maybe it's probably bigger than a bat. But, I mean, if it's... not much bigger. I mean, they will be probably tough.
Because it's kind of a horde monster, that makes me to think it might be smaller. Because, like, you'd get, like, a swarm of them. You know what I'm saying? Like silverfish or
Foster Narada.
Foster Narada. No, thank you. Don't need that in Minecraft.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, thank you.
But this is a night monster we're talking about.
It's
It
true.
would be real nice if you had a bow with the flame enchantment. That would help you aim and judge where you're shooting a lot better.
That's true.
Why would you say that?
Because you can follow your arrow so much better and you can see, okay, I need to lead it more than I just did.
Okay.
Especially since if one hit doesn't kill it and you've got an arrow in it, it's on fire at this point. So it's like lit up.
That helps too.
Okay.
So, I mean, I like the look of it.
Its underside
overall.
looks lighter than its top, like its back. So maybe that'll help us see it in the dark as well, like the fact that it has a paler underside.
Or maybe like Cracky, maybe it's a bit of camouflage itself in the night sky. And maybe the underside darkens when it's dark and light when it's light, so you can't see it.
I don't think they'd make something that hard, would they?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
He said it takes bites, right? So he didn't say anything about a stinger tail or anything like that.
So it's just a little...
I think the tail is just,
decoration?
Perfunctory.
For attracting mates.
Sure. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing.
I wonder if you have to hit it in a specific spot, like...
This isn't Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't that like an obvious spot?
Smog myself.
Oh yeah, there's
Smog.
Has there been any monster yet in Minecraft where we have to hit a specific spot to hurt it?
Not that I can think of.
Not per se.
And then
I mean, the Wither, you have to hit a certain way. You can attack it with arrows until it puts a force field around itself and then lowers to the ground, and then you have to attack it with a sword.
Oh, the Wither! I thought you were talking about Wither skeleton.
No, specifically the Wither.
Yeah. I was thinking about something completely different.
Well, not completely different, just...
So this thing attacks in groups. The question is, what kind of numbers does it spawn in? Does it spawn
I've never seen anything spawn in more than groups of 4.
Yeah. But if it spawns solitary and it has to wait until it gets enough of it spawning around it to attack you, do you get what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I would imagine... Well, of course, they said specifically that it... is attracted to players who have not slept for several days. Yeah. Meaning that it could be like a buzzard hanging around watching the corpse to die sort of thing.
Yes,
and then it kind of gathers as the days go on that you haven't slept. No. Another interesting point that I've seen made.
If you could see it up there, then I think I'll sleep tonight.
Yeah. Exactly.
In a cave.
An interesting point that I've heard people talk about is specifically online servers, not like the Realm or other things, but often servers, at least one of the ones I played in, they don't use beds to set your spawn points, and so there's no need to actually have a bed, and so people don't sleep. So, I mean, if you don't have beds, it will affect things like the servers who play by those kind of rules.
Oh, man.
Because some people have also said that even if the server does use beds, getting everyone who's on to sleep in a bed. I mean, and another question...
But that doesn't matter, because if you sleep in a bed, then that monster's not as attracted to you anymore as it is to the other players who aren't sleeping.
But the question is, will it affect you?
Do you have to sleep through the night?
Do you have to sleep through the night, or just lay down in your bed for a few seconds?
Interesting
or whatever?
Question.
That would be, I think, an interesting thing that would need to be addressed.
For
this mob.
Okay, let's look at Mob C here, the thing that looks like a Trapinch from Pokemon.
It kind of does.
It absolutely 100% does.
Okay.
Well, in my opinion, when the first video was released and we saw the concept art, I was like, why do we have a Trapinch? Just because I'm so used to playing Pokemon. It's one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite monsters to capture, Pokemon to capture. So I wonder what was the inspiration for this one.
I mean, it could have been that. It could have come from anything. Well,
and Trapinch itself is inspired by the antlion or whatever.
Yeah.
Which hangs out in the ground and sets up a little sand trap and waits for things to fall in, which it sounds like this monster does.
Yeah. Could easily be that as well.
So it must be fairly good size.
Yeah, it looks like. It. Yeah,
well, to do what it says. It needs to be pretty good size.
Yeah.
And what does it do?
Well, it talks about hiding in the ground and then eating things whole by the sounds of it that might wander into its open maw.
I don't know if I ever heard the word whole used in the video, but I would think whole, absolutely.
Yeah.
If they were going to do a monster like this.
The question is, will it... It didn't say it kills you, necessarily. It's anything that...
It said it eats mobs and items.
Right.
Is what the video said.
I think eats...
Yeah, right, but I mean...
to sort of a finality.
It was a little vague on some of the descriptors of this creature as far as the... what exactly happens.
Here was the thought... Go on, you go ahead.
And the other thing it said is it eats mobs and items, but then it says it might add or remove enchantments to items. Well, how do you get it back?
Maybe after you kill it, like in another Zelda reference, the likes. it can take your shield, but you killed a like, you can get your shield back.
The gelatinous cube-like monsters from Zelda.
Not gelatinous cube. It's more of like
because.
It's not a cube.
Anyway, these were my thoughts from watching the video on Mob C. It sounded to me like you'd get eaten by this thing, and it would kill you when it eats you, but it keeps your items. Like, there's no going back for your items. And
unless you kill it.
I don't know, because the impression I got when he was talking about enchanting, I was thinking that was one of its drops, maybe. Is like it like how a ghast drops a ghast tier, and you use that for enchanting. That was what I was thinking he meant.
But he did say
that
it
remove an enchantment.
Yeah, add or remove enchantments. So
okay.
I mean, it could maybe potentially randomly remove an enchantment, or maybe randomly add an enchantment to. So
okay. I think you guys.
In fact, it's now that I think about it, its head. If this is its head, kind of resembles an enchanting table.
You know, it does. Now that I'm looking at it,
like a walking, enchanting, murderous table.
Oh, so it's like you got to decide: do I want to let this thing take my item? If I'm gonna toss my sword into its mouth. Oh, that's an interesting.
So more than just being killed by it, you could actually just throw items into it, potentially get them back. I don't know how you get them back if you have to kill it or if it spits it out.
That doesn't sound so sinister as the other two that we talked about. That one almost sounds helpful.
Right, but I mean, it might be random. I think it might be random. I don't think it's you get to pick.
Can't, yeah.
You know?
But if you've got an item
that's
you
not
can't
enchanted at all,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
What are you out?
Right.
There you go.
Personally, I think it's hideous.
Oh, I think it's kind of cute. unless it's colored like an enchanting table, then I'd have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want it to be. For some reason. Well, I mean, I'm picturing this in the desert specifically.
Me too.
I feel like this is a desert creature, so I'm guessing it's gonna be more like tan, like the sand.
But now that we're talking about it, I'm wondering if it is. Like, they haven't really talked so much about what biomes these monsters are, other than just like this one spawns in the air, this one spawns on land, and it's like, well, what does that mean? Like,
yeah, it's true.
So we don't know if they're excluded to certain biomes or if it's just all over the land.
The question is, will they be?
Its nature of burrowing down and opening its mouth just lends itself to a desert.
It feels
sand.
like a desert thing, and it seems desert inspired, absolutely. Especially when you're thinking about Trapinch in the back of your head. Thank you, Pokemon.
The question is, will they be elaborating on these more on Minecon? Or is this all the information we're getting?
The vote?
Right, or is this all the information we're getting? That's the question.
I would say
I wouldn't mind a bit more information, but I can make a decision based on what we do have.
Well, I would guess that this is all the information we're getting before the vote, and then once the vote happens, then whatever monster wins, then we get more information on whatever monster we voted on.
Right.
Is my assumption.
In my opinion, this one is the ugliest.
Okay,
Which
what is this
that?
one?
The Mob C.
Okay.
But it also has the greatest potential to change the way I play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That is true.
Assessment. Tim, what do you think?
I agree with that too. Other than the potential of not knowing what I'm walking into and maybe getting eaten by it myself, that would definitely. I mean, you already have to be careful when you're running around. If you're just running around, because there might be lava pits you don't see, especially in the desert. It's harder to see them than anywhere else.
Yes.
So I mean, it would be double. You have to be just as careful now in the desert, if those things are about.
Do you have an opinion on which monster you think you might want to vote for?
It's hard to say.
Well, we need to know more about D, obviously.
Right.
Which we don't know a lot yet.
Let's talk about D for a second. We only have the one image, and at this point for us, that video hasn't been released yet. It'll probably be released tomorrow morning, like at the same time when we release this.
Right?
Video.
Yeah.
But it looks to me kind of like I get a Blaze impression from it. It looks kind of like a floating upright monster.
Yeah.
Floating or spinning, maybe.
That's
spinning. Ooh.
That's what I thought. I thought those panel things were probably spinning like the Blaze.
And the Blaze is like that too.
Yeah. My first impression initially was the head kind of looked like an Enderman at first, so I thought maybe this was like an Endlord. But then I thought, it also kind of when I could see a closer image of the design of the panels, it looked like the design of a creeper. So like a floating, spinning creeper would be also very terrifying. But I don't think
it looks like either of those. I think it looks like a sea monkey head.
Okay.
Dad just gave me the best look.
Sea monkey head.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me at all. For some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
But the image we have of it is not very good.
No. But I mean, it's only pure speculation what it could be.
Or what biome it's even from.
It looks like a nether or an end monster, to be honest.
If it is, I would hope it's an end monster and not a nether monster, because with this
there's
plus...
so many nether monsters.
Well, there's that. Plus the blaze in this one feel too similar to me.
Yeah.
So I'd like to put this somewhere else.
The Endermen are so prevalent in the end already. Do we need another monster?
But you don't have... Once you...
Let me tell you a thing about Endermen. If you respect them,
yeah,
you can coexist.
You realize you're talking about...
That gave me another great look.
You realize you're talking about you. You don't coexist with Endermen at all.
I absolutely do.
You have died at least 3 times in the last several weeks.
In the recordings we've done in the last several weeks. But I'm the one who, when we went to the end that one time, I built an entire setup of towers and railways through the end.
That's true, you did.
You can coexist with the Endermen.
So once you kill the dragon in the end...
Yeah. Now I'm the new dragon and they all obey me.
So maybe there needs to be something else to deal with, because the end is too...
What if, because...
safe?
The end also has those...
End cities.
Exactly.
What if I mean, they already have shulkers in the end city, but I have not been to an end city yet, so I haven't actually seen a shulker.
Oh, dude, they're fun.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
They're hard, but fun.
Maybe this is another monster for the end cities.
Oh, like their little sentries that kind of patrol the hallways.
Maybe.
I kind of like that. That's fun.
Maybe.
I don't need to see another monster in the nether myself.
No.
Yeah, no thanks.
I'm hoping it is more of an end monster, because I can't see it being an overworld monster. It just doesn't look like an overworld monster. And if it is, I'm never going outside again. I'm just saying, I will build myself a fortress out of obsidian.
Oh,
and I will never leave. Well, it's indestructible to blasts.
Beautiful too. It's a lovely block.
But,
I love it.
I mean, if these things in the nether were to start chasing you, there's way too much lava to run into if you're in run mode.
Yeah.
If you're in run mode.
I mean, you piss off a zombie pigman, there's no really getting away from those
Zombie
either.
pigmen are also monsters you need to respect if you're going to coexist.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they tempt you.
They are
They come up
vindictive.
behind you, and as Dad knows, they hold up swords behind your neck and wait for you to make the wrong move.
Right.
They're like, go ahead, make my day.
Exactly.
All right, so before we cut to Mob D, what you were saying something, you had a thought we were talking about. Did I completely make you lose that thought?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, all right. So let's...
I do like its design, though. I do like the way it looks. It looks very menacing and very...
Mob D?
Mob D.
I think it's my least favorite design.
I don't know. I mean, it's can't get a good look at it, but I mean, I still... Because, I mean, before I could see a big picture of Mob C, I didn't really like the look of it, but now I kind of do. But Mob D, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I personally like its menacing look.
Oh, that's what we were talking about. Tim, so then would you, out of these 4 then, and you said we didn't know much about D yet, but which one do you think you would vote for, in your opinion, as it stands right now?
As it stands right now?
Before D is released.
Before D is released, right. It's got to be between B or A. As much as I like the idea of C, I kind of would like something... Honestly, I personally like to have something a little more challenging mob-wise, because I know there are certain challenges already that you have to be aware of, but sometimes you can be in certain areas and you got nothing to worry about. It's like, oh, I can just mine away and nothing can get at me. So personally, especially I think I would go for A, honestly. I think A would be... I would hope they would be able to run into it a little more often. Okay. But yeah, A I think would make an interesting challenge for ocean passage.
I think out of the group of us, Dad probably travels the most by water. Would you say that's true?
I do a lot of water traveling. And I swim a lot. I mean,
This would definitely affect your gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, I have right now I have Depth Strider 3 on my boots, and I can go almost as fast swimming as I can.
I hate trying to follow you when you've got Depth Strider because you're like, oh, let's just go this way, and then I'm trying to follow you to wherever it is we're going. You're like, what's taking you so long? And it's like, well, I can't swim. I'm like trudging through the water, and you're like flying. It's the worst.
That's when I just get a boat and I just travel across the water.
Like I have Aqua Affinity, Respiration 3, and if there's at nighttime, I'll just go into the water and go underwater, and just hang out down on the bottom.
What?
Come up.
Do you not have to breathe?
If you have Respiration 3, during a night, you probably have to come up 3 or 4 times, just catch a breath and go back down.
Dad, the human beluga over here, I can hold your breath underwater.
Even without that stuff, if you have a bucket, you can just empty water and fill it with water in like a block right in front of you, and you can be down there indefinitely.
Yeah, but how long does that take to walk through the water?
Oh, yeah, for a long time.
Forever.
Sure.
I don't want to be down there that long. Especially now with these Kraken things on the loose. No, thank you.
That would change things.
That would definitely change things. It would make building things underwater very much more difficult.
Yeah.
Unless it's only in the deep ocean and you'd stay away from deep ocean. But, I mean, I don't imagine.
Sometimes that's...
Yeah, because, I mean, I've made some underwater domes and stuff before.
Yeah.
And with these things swimming around down there, you don't need that kind of excitement.
How much are they going to interfere with ocean monuments? Because we've already got Guardians galore there. And then it's like, if these things start popping up
once
with
you're
Guardians,
inside it, I don't think you would have an issue.
Unless, if you dry it out, you're not going to have an issue. But
maybe
there's
you
still
can
water
get the Guardians
inside.
and the Kraken to fight each other, and then you can just go straight for the treasure and kill the Elder Guardian. You're good to go.
If something tells me that wouldn't be as effective as you want to believe that it is.
Well, I didn't say I believe it. I would just like it to be so.
I think out of the group of them, out of these concepts, before we started this podcast, I was leaning toward A, the Kraken creature. Because I like the look of it. I think it would be great to add to the water biomes. I'd certainly much rather fight a water monster than a sky monster because I'm not a person who really uses the bow and arrow so much. I don't like things coming down on my head. I don't want to have to fight a sky monster at all.
At night.
At night especially. But now that we're doing this podcast, I'm almost leaning towards C because we don't know the drops that all of these leave behind once you kill them. We don't know what the other monsters offer. That's helpful. Other than C, we know that it can enchant.
Yeah.
And has enchanting properties.
Yeah.
So because C seems to be the most helpful at this point, with the knowledge I've been given, I would almost lean towards C.
Right.
But if not C, then definitely A is my opinion.
Right. And as far as B goes, I would have a hard time trying to track the treasure that it drops if it's... Who knows how far away in the middle of
at you, then it's already right there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you kill it way up high in the air and it falls, who knows where, you have to go find it.
Oh, that's a good call if you use a bow and arrow.
Because, like, if you shoot
I always
a
think
ghast,
more melee than archery.
If you shoot a ghast, probably 75% of the time you can't go get the ghast here because it fell in lava.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's over lava. Like, you're not going to have the lava issue so much with B.
Right.
I don't lava it.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to go over there and punch you.
I think C might have the most potential impact on my gameplay, but it's so ugly. And I like the idea of B. I really do.
I can see you liking B. Just, you're the bow and arrow guy.
It's like a bird. It's like a giant raptor.
Okay. Because yeah, Dad, you're a bird watcher. You like birds. I can see you, your personality, having an affinity for something like this. That is interesting. But me, no thanks. I don't want to have to fight. I don't want to have to fight something in the air. The dragon is enough for me to try and fight.
And who knows? Maybe
in the air.
when D comes out at the same time of this podcast, we'll
all
choose D. Who knows?
Because Blaze are annoying too. The way they levitate and they get out of my reach. I don't really bow and arrow. I'm a melee person. I need to stab something with a knife or with something.
Yeah.
But Dad's sitting here with a bow and arrow. He's got this. He's fine. So, in conclusion, if they pick B, then I'm going to carry Dad around in my pocket everywhere I go.
There you go.
I'll let you borrow my bow.
I mean, I have a bow. I just always forget that I have it, and I prefer to stab things.
Stabby, stabby.
I prefer to kill things from a distance where they can't hurt me.
Taryn's like that too.
Yeah.
So, That makes sense.
Carissa usually just hides out inside. Usually.
There you go. I mean, do
Which
it safe.
is legitimate.
If,
I mean,
if it's effective,
I don't blame
you
her
don't
one
die.
bit because it's when she usually tries to do stuff like that, she usually ends up getting killed. So I don't blame her one bit.
Did we tell you about the time when we were in the game with her and she came running out of the woods and there was a horde of monsters coming after her, probably like 16 monsters at least. It was madness. And I was like, oh, I came down here to help, but now I'm having second thoughts.
She's like, I just wanted some sand.
All right. Do we have any lingering thoughts on these monsters? Have we covered all we want to cover?
Yeah, I mean, on the monsters, yeah, definitely.
Well, what else did you want to talk about?
I mean, were there any other things, like other updates you would be interested in seeing in future?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, there's other things going on at Minecon besides these updates, these mobs.
I mean, I'm usually just satisfied taking what they give me.
Right.
But what do you think, Tim?
My dream updates probably would include being able to use granite, andesite, and diorite as you do anything else like slabs, stairs, and maybe chiseled stuff. That would be one of my dream ones. The other one would be probably impossible, but pirates.
That'd be fun!
Pirates that could like find like specific modes they would be different. Like they could pillage villages, and in hard mode maybe attack you specifically.
I love that idea. Oh,
that would be a lot of fun.
So a boat of villagers
essentially
that would stop by and steal your treasure.
Right, but I mean, again, that would change your gameplay totally. But I mean but imagine the treasures they would have on their ship.
Emeralds. Oh man.
Emeralds, diamonds, who knows what.
Rum.
Other villagers, maybe. If you need to start a village, there you go. Maybe they've got prisoners.
You want to start a village with pirates?
No,
they're
he's
prisoners. Talking about like human trafficking.
Right, human trafficking in Minecraft. That's what we need.
If I want to see a specific update, it would only really be with if we got Mob B. If we got Mob B, I would need a way to more readily fly through the air. Like, we've got the Elytra already, but you can only get those in, like, the end. And it's like, if I had an easier way to kind of fly around and attack, like, melee style in the air, then I could deal with it. Like a
glider.
I don't know. Or, like, that's what the Elytra is, really.
Right, but I mean, like, when you can construct.
Even if we could get the Elytra earlier on, then I would just feel better about fighting things in the air.
Yeah.
So that would really be the only update I'd want to see.
Well, you might help because you can make rockets and shoot them up for fireworks.
That's true.
Oh.
If you could turn them into weapons.
Yes.
Like a rocket launcher. I could get behind that. I could.
I've always
wanted like a creeper charge, so that when it comes down.
I guarantee you, in certain mods or whatever people make, that there are rocket launchers, there are jetpacks, there's all kinds of nonsense that people make if you download the right mod.
Yeah. But that can always be risky.
Mods,
That can be risky, too, if your computer can't handle it.
What about you, Dad? Updates?
Nothing that I've really thought about. No.
Mounted combat, perhaps?
Something with a lance?
Yeah, I've been thinking that for a while. Like because I mean, you have your sword, you have your bow,
you got the shield,
and you have your shield, and you have a horse. Why can't you attack something on your horse, like with a lance?
And more than once, I've been riding a horse and using my bow and killed my horse.
Yeah.
Where there's something out there you want to shoot, and you're shooting over the horse in your mind.
Yeah.
But the hitbox of the horse head is in your way and you don't know it. And you're cruising along at night because you're traveling at night.
Suddenly your horse is either on fire or dying.
You just shot your horse and now you're out in the middle of the desert at night.
Another update.
With a horse with no life.
A horse with no life?
Riding on the desert.
A better way to transport horses. Because they're useless in the water. And if you've got like an island full of horses and you want to move them somewhere else, like we have in our realm, I built the horsey highway already that the our viewers haven't seen yet. But because I found a gazillion horses like on a continent far away.
Yeah, it's super far
in the Dagobah system. And it's like I had to build a highway across the ocean, across the extreme hills, just to get the horse to our area. So, like, horses, they're fast on land, and that's great. But if you got an ocean in between you...
But you can't use them in the woods.
Yeah, that's useless, too.
So,
they're really hard. Dense woods, anyway.
So, really, you use them in the plains, the desert, and that's about it.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of just there to be horses.
If you need to travel a long distance, you don't take a horse because there's too many places it can't go.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, I usually work around it somehow. Usually, if I have,
but it's such a hassle.
It can be. But if I really want my horse that badly, then I make it work.
But if there was something more to do with horses than just trying to get around,
right?
Like some kind of a.
It's just easier to swim.
It's true.
Mr. Depth Strider 3.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, if you had like mounted combat and lances and whatnot,
that could be
imagine
fun.
Imagine the things you could do online with other people. Jousting tournaments would be fantastic.
I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but it would just be really cool to be able to do a proper jousting contest like that.
If one of the mobs they introduced was like a black knight on a horse with and that you come across in the night, and it just comes after you on a horse, that'd be interesting. The only mobs we get that spawn on horses already are the skeletons that spawn on the skeleton horses, which is cool, but I mean, there's not much to it because they're in the water.
Yeah.
And again, horses are useless in the water.
But you get like zombies riding spiders or something, right?
Little baby zombies on spiders. Yeah.
Mounted combat against a baby zombie on a spider. That would be
who would win?
Fantastic.
I'd put my money on the baby zombie.
Yeah, me too. Especially if it's on a chicken.
Yeah, because I've seen that too. Yeah, yep. Absolutely it does. Dad, have you ever seen a baby zombie on a chicken?
Yes.
I didn't know if you had.
I have.
All right. Well, anything else? Is that all we want to cover?
Sometimes you can, if you have a flame on your bow, you can get them both.
Yeah.
And then have like the roast chicken.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's everything that I had thoughts on, especially for these mobs and any other updates I'd like to see.
I will be looking at YouTube tomorrow morning for Mob D.
Yes.
I will too. Absolutely I will. And that'll be up at the same time probably that we get this video up. So, I mean, you'll have to excuse us for not having more information on Mob D for you, but we trust you. We'll leave that to you to decide if you like Mob D better than the mobs that have been presented us. But this is your last chance, guys, if you have any last comments.
No,
No?
Okay, then that's us.
Vote for Cracky.
That's it for us today. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on these new mob candidates? Join the discussion and tell us what you think in the comments below. But most importantly, remember to vote for your favorite mob this Saturday during Minecon Earth. You can vote either by text or online at minecraft.net/Minecon. Plus, I think you can vote for it on Minecraft's official Facebook page. But at any rate, I'll leave the links in the description. So thanks again for joining us, and remember to subscribe for more videos from us every week. Bye!
See ya!